welcome back to my channel. If you're a subscriber, if you're new, thank you so much for stopping by and welcome. So I know I haven't posted in a while, and I wanted to give you guys an update of what's been going on post my twin to twin transfusion laser ablation surgery that I had in January. If you haven't watched that video, go ahead and check that video out. I'll leave the link down below. But basically, just in a brief summary, twin to twin transfusion, it can happen in monodyne twins. One had an abundance of fluid and one was depleted of fluids, which is basically their nutrients. So one twin was smaller than the other one. And if there's like 5 stages with the twin to twin transfusion, and if it gets to stage 3, 4-ish, 5, it's fatal for both of their lives. I was in stage 2, approaching stage 3. So it was very important for me to get that as surgery immediately as soon as they told me. They told me on a Thursday. I had to hop on a plane by Monday to get the surgery by Tuesday. So it was very quick. When I did get the surgery, I'm just giving you guys a brief summary. When I did get the surgery, the doctor did state that he did accidentally rupture one of my sacs, which is very possible because of how the twins were positioned in my womb. So basically he ruptured baby B's sac to get to my placenta so that he can do the laser ablation to separate the fluid so that the fluids can balance between them both. And he did state that it can possibly put me into labor. So when I did go home that Wednesday, because I went home the day after because they said, hey, the fluids are basically correcting themselves at this point. So I think it's safe for you to go home. So I flew right back to Kansas. And the doctor basically told me that I will be on bed rest for a week. And then I'll visit my doctor after that week is done of being on bed rest, just to gauge to see if I need to do extended bed rest or if I can go back to work. So when I got back home, you know, I was literally in bed for a week. I had a doctor's appointment with my high-risk doctor. I thought the doctor's appointment was at 11:30. It was actually at 11. So when 11:30 was coming around, I was starting to get ready. I had my mom pick me up because I wasn't supposed to drive. And I was talking to my boyfriend on the phone, and we were laughing and stuff like that. And I had thought I peed on myself. I was laughing so hard, I thought that I peed on myself. I was pregnant. So I was like, and I was like, oh my God, I think I peed on myself. So I went to the bath. I was like, hold on, I gotta go to the bathroom real quick. So I went to the bathroom and fluid started leaking out. And I was like, what the heck? I just went to the bathroom. So when I got up, there was more leaking out. And I was like, hold up. I was just looking down and looking up. I'm like, what the hell? So then my mom, I left my door unlocked because I knew my mom was coming over, and she was standing in my doorway looking at me in the bathroom. And I was just like, I think I'm peeing on myself. And then my mom was like, or I think your water just broke. And she was just basically telling me, go ahead and put on a pad. I put the pad on, and more started coming out as I like stood up, because I was also standing up doing it. I was like panicking, and I was like, what the heck? I don't even care that my mom is watching me put on this pad. But I was like panicking because I was like, oh my God, this is crazy. I can't believe this is happening. I was like, because with my daughter, my 10-year-old daughter, my water didn't break. They induced me at like 37 weeks or 37 weeks. So I never experienced my water being broken organically. So this was a whole brand new experience for me. So my mom was like, oh, we're gonna get you to the doctor ASAP. So I was calling my doctor. They didn't answer, got sent voicemail. They actually was calling me at the same time. They were like, hey, you missed your appointment. I was like, hey, I think my water broke. And they were like, oh yeah, please come in ASAP. So I went into the doctor's office, and I was leaking all over the place. I wish I had a picture of the bed. It was so embarrassing because it felt like I was peeing on myself, but I wasn't. And I was literally leaking every step that I had. I was soaking through pads. Like, it was a lot of liquid. And I went through maybe like 10 that day. And then I put on a diaper, and that was way better than the pad. So just a trick, you guys, if your water does break, the diapers work way better than the regular pads, just FYI. I know it's like TMI, but I don't care. Um, as I was sitting in the office, the doctor, of course, they did their ultrasound and they were like, yeah, baby B's fluid your water definitely broke with baby B. And at this point, you need to be bed rest in the hospital, because now they had to monitor my baby's heart rates, because if it dropped, then I would have to deliver. So basically what this is called PPROM, which is called preterm premature rupture of membranes. In a nutshell, meaning that the sac was ruptured and my water broke. That's all that basically means. And because of that, I had to be bed rest at the hospital at this point, because they had to watch me and monitor the baby's heart rate to see if if I was dilated. Yeah, they had to monitor me. I had to do extensive ultrasounds on me while I was up there, just so that they can make sure that they are on top of things if anything had happened. So while I was in the hospital, I was in there for about a week and a few days. So during the first week that I was in the hospital, I was continuously leaking the fluid. My water, it wasn't just a one day, one time thing. It literally leaked for like a whole week. Now, the first 3 days, it was very much so. Anytime I moved, coughed, sneezed, it was coming out. It was gushing out. But like as the days went by, it did lighten up a little bit, but I was still experiencing the light pink blood. The doctor said it was normal, but I just needed to just make sure if there was any changes that was going on, just to let her know or let the nurses know immediately so that they could keep an eye on it. So approaching the first week, going into the second week while I was in the hospital, the blood started changing colors. It started changing to like a dark red, like a bright red, as if I was starting my period. So I notified the doctor. I was like, hey, look, the blood is changing. So I had to let the nurses look at the pad or the diaper or whatever the case may be so that they can examine it. And they were like, okay, just let us know if you start, soaking the pad with blood. I never got to that point. It was always more of the fluid from the sacs versus the blood. The blood was very, it wasn't that much. So after that day, and again, I'm in the second week now, the beginning of the second week that I was in the hospital. The next day, I started experiencing what they said were Braxton Hicks. Oh my God. I did not experience any of this in my first pregnancy, so I did not know what to really look for. But after the first day of experiencing these Braxton Hicks, my doctor was like, well, if it's, make sure you're keeping track of the Braxton Hicks and let us know if there's any specific patterns. So I started writing the times down and really saying, okay, well, how long are these contractions going on? Is there like a pattern with it? So that when I see my doctor, I will let them know. So the next day, that's what I was doing. And basically these Braxton Hicks, they were 20 minutes apart and they lasted for about 20 to 30 seconds. So as the days the second day that I was experiencing Braxton Hicks, the pain started getting worse. The third day, I was literally in pain where I was like requesting pain medication because I could not go to sleep. So I was like, look, I need somebody to get me some pain medication. Maybe my pain tolerance is low. I don't know what it is, but these hurt like hell. So as I'm in the hospital, my doctor actually comes up to the hospital and she does an ultrasound just to do a checkup on me. And she was just like, we did an ultrasound. So she was like, you had 3 contractions. Has anybody checked to see if you're dilated? At this point, since I was bed rest from the laser ablation to my water breaking to me being in the hospital for almost 2 weeks, nobody has checked to see if I was dilated or anything. Now, the reasonings behind that is because basically my doctor was saying that we don't really want to check your cervix a lot because you're already ruptured and we don't want to tamper with it to possibly go into labor. So she checked me after that ultrasound and she was like, wow, you're about 3 centimeters dilated. So she was like, okay, we're going to give you magnesium and this other medication basically to stop me from going into labor even further. The next morning, another doctor had came in I was asking the nurse, I was like, hey, you know, can I take a shower? They were like, no, we're going to wait until the doctor checks you, and then we'll evaluate to see what our next steps are. So the doctor comes in, she checks my cervix. She was just like, you're 10 centimeters dilated and you're also with phase. We're taking these babies. I was like, what in the what? I thought this medication was supposed to stop it, but apparently it didn't. So after that point, it went so fast. So she was just like, yeah, we're taking these babies today. And she was like, I'm gonna get you the documentation so that you can sign the disclosures so that we can give you not an epidural, but a spinal. It's basically the same thing as epidural, but different, whatever the case may be. It numbed me. She was like, we have to give disclosures for the medicine to numb you. And after that, if you want anybody in the room, you better call them and let them know that they need to be here within 20 minutes because we have to do the emergency C-section. I was literally like, what the heck? Everything went so fast. It felt like I was in a Twilight Zone. It felt unreal. So when they wheeled me over to another room, the delivery room, it was literally like, I seen lights. I was looking up and I was looking at the lights. And then the doctor, she was so kind. She was just trying to calm me down because she could see that I was scared. I don't think I've ever been that scared in my life. I literally started crying. I was crying silently. It wasn't dramatic or anything, but I was crying silently. And the nurse, she was like, it's going to be okay. She was just trying to give me a lot of comfort, and she's being very encouraging. And then the doctor came in. He gave me my, I think it's not an epidural, but it's something like an epidural. It's like a spinal something. My foot had jolted because I guess I was moving and my foot had jolted, and then I literally felt my entire bottom half going numb. It was just like unreal. So then they had me like that on the bed, and I felt so helpless. Like I felt like I was not in control of anything at that moment. And I just really started crying. And my sister had walked in. She got to the hospital on time before they performed the C-section. They started poking at my stomach, I guess. They were like, could you feel that? I was like, no, not really. And they're like, okay, great. So then they started performing the C-section. When they were performing the C-section, I literally was hearing everything. So they cut me open, and I just seen them just like bloody hands. They pulled my baby A out fairly quickly. And then after they pulled baby A out, they were having trouble. They had about, I guess it was only about a 2-minute difference, but it felt like an eternity when I was watching like the blood splattering on the, they had like plastic up. I seen like blood splattering everywhere, and I kept seeing the bloody hands and stuff like that, trying to dig inside of my stomach. It was just like so gross. So I guess baby B was the one that was in my canal, and that was 10 centimeters dilated. So they literally had to pull baby B out of my canal, up and out of my stomach, and they were having trouble getting him out. So it was like a 2-minute difference from his brother. So Ian was born first. And then Elon was born 2 minutes after Ian. So, yeah.
There you go. Oh, we got a little pie. I think I got it.
They come out.
One comes out. Hold on. Now they're ready. They're getting ready for the second.
Oh,
See, you heard him? Like he's squeaking already. He's squeaking already. You okay? Here goes number 2. So see, Elon's out. Now this guy get Elon. He's in there. He's the one that like to sit on your lungs. There you go. Just breathe on it.
the baby's head was so low.
Oh, he is a little stubborn.
But that was like the only complications that was going on during the C-section. Yeah, I was 20 weeks. I was 26 weeks and 6 days. So it was basically 27 weeks. Yeah, it was a lot. It was very, I would say C-sections are traumatic. They are very traumatic. I would rather do a vaginal birth. I have done both. I did a vaginal birth with my daughter who's 10 years old, and now I have done the C-section with the twins. And I can tell you now, I would rather do a vaginal birth any day. Any day versus that. But yeah, that's basically my birth story and an update of what's been going on. And I'm so sorry I have not been posting. Basically, that's what happened. If you have any questions, definitely leave a comment down below. If you like my video, go ahead and like it and subscribe. And anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. Bye.